Can you believe the journey of Sesame Street, which began in 1969, not only shaped children's television, but also transformed the way media addresses complex societal issues? From its initial mission to educate young viewers through research based content to its current status as a cultural icon, Sesame Street has continued to evolve in response to societal changes, technological advancements, and even global crises. What began as a groundbreaking experiment in children's education has now spanned over 5 decades, with a lasting legacy of social change, inclusivity, and mental health advocacy. Here is a full history of Sesame Street, tracing its rise from humble beginnings to a global phenomenon and reflecting the unique ways it's remained relevant in a rapidly changing world. The creation of Sesame Street can be traced back to 1966 when television producer Joan Gans Cooney and Carnegie Corporation Vice President Lloyd Morissette discussed creating a children's show that would capitalize on television's ability to capture children's attention for educational purposes. With nearly all American households owning a television, Cooney and Morissette saw an opportunity to use the medium to address educational disparities faced by children from low income families. Their vision was to create a show that would both entertain and teach, using sophisticated research backed methods to create a unique story. Cooney's research into early childhood education, conducted with the help of developmental psychologists and media experts. It led groundbreaking approaches to children's television and understanding the mind of kids. The Children's Television Workshop was formed to create Sesame Street with a focus on cognitive development, early literacy, and social skills. The show's creators decided to set it in an urban street, an urban environment within a city, reflecting the experiences of children from diverse societal backgrounds and economic backgrounds, therefore opening the door for various different cultures to live in one area. The result of this program would soon change the landscape of television forever. Sesame Street first aired on November 10th, 1969, and immediately caught the attention of audiences for its innovative use of Muppets animation and live action segments. Jim Henson's Muppets, such as Big Bird, Oscar the Grouch, and Cookie Monster, quickly became iconic characters beloved by children and adults alike. The show's diverse cast, which included characters like Gordon, Susan, and Bob, broke new ground by reflecting racial and ethnic diversity in the world of television, specifically children's programming, which at the time was unheard of. By the 1970s, Sesame Street had become a staple in American households, with its educational impact well documented within research. Studies indicated that children who watched Sesame Street regularly demonstrated higher academic performance, especially in areas like math, reading, and social skills. The program was able to balance its educational goals with humor, making learning fun and engaging. The use of catchy songs and memorable characters helped reinforce lessons being taught. The show's educational curriculum expanded in the 1980s to address even more complex topics, such as relationships, ethics, and emotions. This period also was marked by a significant milestone for Sesame Street when it addressed the death of one of the most beloved characters on children's television, Mr. Hooper, who was played by Will Lee. When Lee passed away in 1983, Sesame Street was the first children's television program to address death in such a direct, sensitive manner. It provided children with an outlet to understand the tool of grief. It also led to one of the most famous lines in children's TV history, when Big Bird said, "Who's gonna make my birdseed milkshake?" The 1980s also allowed for more expansion and continued growth, specifically global expansion of Sesame Street. International versions of the show were produced to suit different cultural contexts with unique adaptations made for each country. By its 40th anniversary in 2009, Sesame Street had aired in over 120 countries, with more than 20 localized versions helping children across the world. Entering the 1990s, Sesame Street faced new challenges with rapidly changing media. The rise of cable television, VHS tapes, and digital platforms meant children's media consumption habits were shifting. The show's traditional magazine format began to feel dated and stale, with increasing competition from shows like Blue's Clues and other Nickelodeon shows that were geared towards children, as well as Disney Channel shows that were geared towards children like Alice in Wonderland and shows about Winnie the Pooh and Dumbo. This meant Sesame Street faced more and more adversity. The 2000s saw a major change in the structure of the show, and in 2005, Sesame Street introduced a new, more narrative driven format with longer story arcs and greater character development. This period also saw the rise of Elmo, who became one of the most beloved characters in Sesame Street history. His segment Elmo's World, which premiered in 1998, became a favorite among young viewers and helped solidify Elmo as a cultural icon, leading to the rise in Elmo toys and Sesame Street merchandise across the world, including the famous Tickle Me Elmo, where nobody could get it for the holiday season. Throughout the 2000s, Sesame Street continued to develop and change, focusing on more diverse topics and focusing on relevant topics, things like divorce and other social issues that children would be facing in their everyday lives. It also led to more unique characters appearing from all different cultural backgrounds, opening the door for more unique aspects being discussed to children everywhere. As the world entered the 2020s, Sesame Street showed commitment to tackling real-world issues and challenges head-on. In response to the COVID-19 pandemic, Sesame Street partnered with CNN to air a town hall, helping children understand the scope of the pandemic and giving them a better understanding of what exactly COVID was. In addition to the pandemic, Sesame Street also used its platform to address other issues and challenges navigating the world in diverse situations, such as the Black Lives Matter movement and other diverse movements. It made Sesame Street stand out on children's TV as it was one of the only ones tackling these topics. But this was not its first time dealing with challenging and difficult subjects. Sesame Street also dealt with the terrorist attacks from 9/11, discussing it in a manner that children could understand, helping them understand the importance of police officers and firefighters during a difficult time period. It also has taken on many other moments in American history as well as global history, giving children a better understanding of how to handle situations and understanding the complex emotional side. Whether you agree or disagree with a topic or an ideology, Sesame Street put it in a way for children to understand. It famously took on many difficult and challenging topics from the 1970s to the 1990s to now modern day. Sesame Street has never been afraid to tackle a controversy, and that's one thing that's made it very unique. In the modern era, Sesame Street has adapted, going on HBO Max. However, its contract ended in 2024 and now it's looking for a new home. But that doesn't mean Sesame Street hasn't stayed relevant. In other areas, such as social media, like Elmo's Twitter posts as well as the Sesame Street TikTok account, has garnered attention for discussing fun and unique concepts to adults rather than focusing only on children. This unique marketing has kept Sesame Street alive and well and in the minds of families everywhere. The question is, what happens next for Sesame Street? Where will it land? Let us know in the comments below what you think. We'd love to hear from all of you. Thank you so much. And who's your favorite Sesame Street character?